Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
Raffi and Seven stop a bus. Rios gets revenge. The Borg Queen swats the Chateau. Picard can't get a gal's name right. Q is the worst therapist. Soong's daughter gets spider veins. And the Queen gets all up inside Jurarti's head.
Look, I don't care. You, come on, Doc. You tell the other dots to stop poking Heather. That they cannot put nanobots in her bloodstream. They're not built for that. What do you? No, she cannot be assimilated because one, all you guys are not Borgs. Two, she's going to get pissed off and use one of you for an experiment. So stop trying to poke her. I don't care if she does have receptacles. They don't go there. No.
They don't?
You're not supposed to poke her there.
No.
I am not meant to be poked.
So, not without permission.
No.
So thank you, Octugamut.
And not there either.
No, Octugamut. So yeah, so don't. What do you mean you don't know what that means? Go watch Fifth
You've
Element.
never seen The Fifth Element?
Go.
What's wrong with these dots? Who programmed these things?
No. They're what the hell? What? So, okay. Well, that I understand. Thank you for telling me the light is on, but stop poking my science officer. Just leave her alone. Thank you. Okay. First off, for those of you that are mad at us for our April Fool's show, I'm not sorry. Because we had a lot of fun with it, so it was awesome.
Wait a minute, we had an April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
You thought it was serious.
So
you thought, well, I mean, the thing I remember most about it was you mentioned sex droids, and that was actually a legit story. All our news stories in that episode were legit.
I'm just kidding.
Except for the whole, like Star Wars, Star Trek thing.
Isn't that a song by Soft Cell? Sex droids?
I'm just getting a kick of seeing Patrick walk down the corridors with the Princess Leia outfit and his hair done up.
I don't know
I'm
because
sorry,
his hair is
that
short.
must be a hologram because that was not me.
Your hair is so short. How did you do it, Pat?
That was not me. Someone programmed a hologram.
Bun extensions.
No, I think they're like headphones or something, but the headphones have the Princess Leia buns, so I think that's how he did it.
Wasn't me, people.
Well,
okay.
whoever it was had really hot legs, so.
It wasn't me, because my legs,
Someone programmed a holo, but it wasn't me.
Well, it wasn't me because my legs are tanned, so people would know right off the bat. Oh, I just went off on a tangent here. So first off, welcome to Starfleet Underground. If this is your first show, shame on you, because then you have no idea of our history. And I need to warn you, if you're under the age of 18, you need to bounce. Get out of here, leave.
Like the dryer sheets.
Yeah, because that's not good. We really say all kinds of bad things, so you need to go.
And we're recording later in the evening than we normally do.
Yeah.
Something about recording at night.
So we're Starfleet Underground After Dark. So, my name is, of course, Captain Nathan Adams, and I have on here our wonderful, hopefully healed from all the dots attacking her.
No.
My science officer.
I am Heather Ferris, and I am one pissed off science officer. And if they don't stop poking me, I'm going to start dissecting them and using their parts for spare parts on something else, on an experiment of mine.
You know that new can opener we might want?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And
Not that.
I know dots don't scream, even though I'm hearing them scream, but we will do that.
And if our dot was a can opener, oh God.
Oh shit. Oh my God. You said that out loud and on the ship's panel. All of a sudden, I have like 20 dots in my corridor. It's like in my room.
Are they
There's nowhere for me to move around. And they're all shaking. Will you get away from my leg? Stop. I need room.
He's gonna wake up in the middle of the night and a dot's gonna wake him up and want to get in the bed with him just for safety.
How many dots do we have on this ship? That's going to be one full bed.
I think all of them in here now. And they're all scared.
The gravitational rotation of the ship is just slightly angled to your quarters now, and I don't understand how that works in space.
Dude, don't piss me off. I swear to God, I'm not that scary when I'm not pissed off.
Oh my God, I am getting hot now. these things give off heat. They need to get the fuck out of here. Go see Patrick. Speaking of Patrick, my number one brilliant computer guy, programmed them all. Go ahead, Pat.
I am Patrick. I'm number one on the computer guy and the foreign species liaison. And I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Well, what have you been doing with the dots all day?
I was at WonderCon. I didn't do nothing with the dots.
There were no dots at WonderCon? What kind of tragedy is this?
Did you guys have fun? What was it like?
It was kind of slow.
Oh.
Yeah, the first day is always a little slow.
I think today was slower than normal because it was like the first con back.
However, all the R2 units that were there at the con kept coming over and asking when they're going to be aboard the ship. So we had to keep telling them.
We have an R2 fan club now.
Yeah, it was an April Fool's show.
When there's going to be a whore on the ship? What?
The R2-D2 units kept coming over and asking when they're going to be on the ship. I kept trying to explain to them it was an April Fool's joke, but they really were serious. There must have been about 4 or 5 R2 units that kept coming by.
R2 Stalker Crew.
Oh, my God. Then they had a slow droid, which I won't say the R word or anything like that, but I do think he had mental programming problems because he was on a little tricycle and he was like moving slow with his little hat. And he was like, next? No, you're not on the ship. Next. So it was definitely interesting. However, we did have fan of the show that greeted us earlier, so we didn't have a chance to engage them for long, but they're going to probably come by tomorrow. So that was all fun. Also, we have our wonderful engineer here.
And I did not actually have a Mandalorian helmet. That was acting.
Well, that was really good acting.
That was fun special effects in the quick moment. That was highly entertaining to me. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And apparently I've got a ticket to go to Chicago.
Oh, my God. It's going to be all three of you guys.
It's going to be a Starfleet Underground Sausage Fest at Star Trek Mission Chicago.
Wait a minute,
That's so fun.
With sauteed onions.
What?
Heather's not going. Heather won't go, right?
Go. But I'm looking forward to your pictures. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that could
and
be
not
fun.
those pictures. I want I
not
want
the sausage
pictures.
Damn it.
Uniforms. She wants us in uniforms.
I had just bought my regulation thong. Damn. Oh.
You can wear it. You just have to put a uniform on in front of it.
Okay. Well, we are all here and the dots are still in my quarters. So there's that. Patrick, could you get like your psychic whistle or something to get him out of here?
Bloop, bloop.
That was a whistle?
It's a psychic whistle.
That's a pretty good impersonation of a
whistle.
dot, actually.
Actually,
Our dots sound just about exactly like that.
they are beginning to leave. So thank you. Just program them as they come. So this way they're going to keep moving us all the way through.
Or they keep poking me. No poking.
Yeah. They tell them not without her permission. So
right.
They cannot poke her. Okay. I am still confused. It was a long day. Oh, I forgot. Thank you. 007. You actually became quite useful lately. This show is being brought to you by Section 31 and, of course, all of our Patreon users, and one of them did greet us. So we're quite happy. So that was a nice thing. So that was awesome. Now, I do have a question, Pat, as you're working on these dots. Do we have any corrections?
Let me check such days. I believe there was. You never know what comes in last minute. Nope. Clear.
Okay, outstanding.
Nothing from the Q continuum, apparently. They don't call us. We have to call them.
Yeah, we were kind of worried that one would show up, but no. It may happen tomorrow, which means you guys will hear about it next week or 3 years from now or 2 years from now, depending upon the timeline. So that was a good thing. News-wise, what do you got for us, Heather? You're first.
Aye, Captain. So this week's news is actually related to you guys and what you guys were saying earlier. We are going to be talking about Mission Chicago. So Mission Chicago, Star Trek Mission Chicago, released its COVID-19 guidelines for the upcoming convention. Now, if you haven't read it, I'll go over it real fast. And if you want to read it in detail, you could check out the link in the show notes below. But all guests ages 5 and up must be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or provide a proof of a negative antigen or PCR COVID-19 test, which must have been performed no more than 1 day prior to the event. Any exhibitors, media, press, talent, vendors, and panelists must present proof of full vaccination in order order to enter the event. A mask or appropriate face covering is strongly recommended for all in attendance, even if you are fully vaccinated. For those of you who are unvaccinated, a mask must be required at all times, which is sort of contradicting because it said nobody's going to be unvaccinated. But anyway, at the discretion of event guests, some autograph tables and panels may require a mask regardless of your vaccination status. And all attendees are expected to maintain proper hygiene, it really does say this, and respect the personal boundaries of those around them.
What are personal boundaries?
They should lead with that, just, boundaries.
Yeah. But I mean, cosplay chicks, regularly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's seriously. If you need to be told to not fondle the cosplay people, you've got a problem, okay?
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
You're not Kirk.
Yeah, exactly, right? Only Kirk is allowed to do that, and he's like...
Even then, he's not.
He's not allowed to do that now. His agent won't let him.
No.
Yeah, it's a no. You don't do things like that.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to see a bunch of people get pissed off, just do it within eyesight of either Patrick or myself, and you will have a rude awakening. Rude, I tell you. Rude.
You are welcome to fondle me, but I need to expect it, okay? I need to be told ahead of time. You got to tell me first.
Yeah, you got to really warn him, because if you fondle him unexpected, he'll get so excited and it whips out and hits the person in the head, and then we get medical problems.
I cannot be responsible for my instinctive reaction. It's physical.
It's hilarious. I was walking down the corridor one day and I was behind Rocky and his member was dragging on the floor and there was a couple tribbles following him and they kept tickling him. Oh, it was so hilarious seeing Rocky jump up like that.
It's serious. It's like a freaking pogo stick. He just went, boing.
I got to be very, very careful around the turbo lift doors.
You're going to have to be very careful in Mission Chicago. You're going to have to make sure nobody steps on that.
Yeah.
Actually, as a present, I bought you tricycle wheels to bolt onto that thing so they don't go through the dirt.
There's a reason they say 6 foot distance, right?
There's a reason.
Oh, crap. We could use that to measure if people get too close.
Yeah. There you go.
Now it's a dick measuring contest. Yeah. Great.
Now, talking about measuring contests, what do you got for us there, Patrick, news-wise?
Well, unfortunately, it's a little bit of sad news.
Oh,
we had Emmy-winning Star Trek director Marvin Chomsky has passed away. He directed 3 episodes of the original series, The Much Maligned and the Children Shall Lead, The Day of the Dove, and one of the best time-traveling episodes of Star Trek, All Our Yesterdays.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad.
That sucks.
He was 92.
Well, he had a good life.
Oh, well, he put in a few years, that's for sure.
Yeah, so he made it past the average mean age for back then. So let's give a quick moment of silence for him. Okay, thanks for that news. World's lost another talent. Hey, Rocky, what do you got for us there?
Well, I've got bring it back more up on the uppity ups. There's a lovely interview with Jonathon Frakes, and it's on trekmovie.com. I get most of my news from trekmovie.com because they've got good sources and the pretty solid stuff. It was a neat interview with Jonathon. He's talking about directing everybody, from the TNG crew to the new people. He's talking about how he enjoyed setting up the Ocean's 11 flavored scenes. And the one thing I took insight from that it stood out to me, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, later on, but there was this Freudian accent, and they decided to do it on set. So it wasn't written. They decided, just do it Freudian. And they're like, we'll keep it in. Let's keep it in. And if you don't like it, you can just re-record it. And I thought that was a cool little bit of news right there, a little tidbit for people directing. And if my voice gets suddenly redubbed in a Freudian accent, you'll know why.
But that kind of goes along with my news section. Of the episodes that went in there for season 2, I don't know, we talked about her before, that's Lea Thompson, from the one who played Marty McFly's mother in Back to the Future.
Yes.
And the cast was talking about how enthusiastic they were about their time on the set with her. Ingoria called it an eye-opening experience, and Ryan said that Thompson is a lovely energy to have around. Heard said, there's something about working with actor-directors. They kind of get the fact that I don't know, and maybe actors are needy. We just need a director to come in and says, you're doing good, go on. So working with Thompson, they said, is such a gift. She didn't have to call days before the schedule to talk through the episode and ask what I thought, but she did. She advocated for me and my take on my character. Michelle Hurd said that she has a strong, clear point of view. So I think that was pretty cool. And if you're going to look for it, if you go check on YouTube, there is the Star Trek Picard YouTube channel, and they do have that little interview where people talk about her. However, if you haven't seen the show, I'm not going to tell you that there's spoilers, because if you're listening to us, you already watched it. Or else we're going to spoil the shit out of you.
Completely.
So there's definitely going to be stuff on that. So that was really kind of good. This episode that we're going to talk about, and Patrick, what's the name of this episode?
Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that.
It's hard to fly to Chicago, man. I can't afford the moon.
Yeah, you can.
You know.
I'll just drop you off. Just put the ship on
Moon's the
auto.
next
Oh,
trip.
you mean for back there? Oh,
Well,
clever.
I mean, you could always fly to like, oh shit, what's the name of that? Freebird?
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Freecloud.
Freecloud. Okay,
Yeah.
let me try. Let me read it. You could always fly to Freecloud. Fuck.
It's easy for you to say.
You can always fly to fuck.
Always
Fly
fly
to
to fuck.
Fly the fuck.
Wow.
Just
That
fly
must be
the
one of
fuck
those
outta here.
that airline you were talking about in Vegas, Heather.
That new airline, yeah, that you could take and
The
the
flying
Mile
high
have a
one.
honeymoon in Vegas Airborne Mile High Club.
Oh my god.
Fly into fuck. Welcome to Fuck Airlines. I mean, what we call that's not the name of our company. It's what we do.
I was gonna say you can always go to Freebird and hear the song there. Or Freecloud. Fuck, I did it
No,
again. You know what? Screw it. Screw it.
Is
Screw it.
Freebird a
I'm
place?
done.
That's awesome.
I'm done.
No, this
I
is
have
great.
no-
This is
I'm
all
just-
staying in. I don't think I'm cutting any of this.
Oh, that's so horrible.
That's the song. So I'm free fuck.
Oh, that's a different that's a
Okay.
different song. I like that
So,
one.
If you want to know what we sound like normally without Rocky doing the editing, this is how bad that we could sound at times. Like Rocky really makes us good. Rocky makes us sound really good.
He makes us go.
He makes us go.
Yes, he
Fallen.
does. Well, this episode, you'll find out why it was called Fly Me to the Moon. It was done really well. And I have to say, because my first officer is so entertaining, I am looking forward to his rendition of everything and his recap of the show. So
I
take
did
it away.
really fast yesterday, so I mean, we had a lot to do. So
Yeah.
okay.
Drop the bass, baby.
Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 5, Fly Me to the Moon. Teaser, 12:02 alarm. Shango, what's a Shango? Picard and the supervisor go to her apartment. Ooh. Picard thinks it's Laris, but it's not, and she doesn't know who Q is either. Talon is her name. She says hello by pulling a gun. Back with Shango, things are a little rocky. Talon doesn't like time travelers, but when he says his name, it gives her a little bit of pause. The simulation is a bust. Shango is dead. Talon has a singular purpose to one individual. That individual is Renee Picard.
Okay, so Picard needs to get the lady's name right. It's like a thing. It's like women like to be called by their actual name unless they're role playing. And she was not role playing. It was actually her name. You needed to get it right. They're just freaking out over this.
In that case, it's a safe word.
That's why she pulled a gun on him. She's like, bitch, you better get my name right. I got this gun.
The safe word is hot banana.
Safe words are very important for this reason. Hot banana.
That would be fun. I got to try that.
I really enjoyed the right away the call to NASA, the 12:02 alarm that flies back to the moon days where they actually had that. I believe the 12:02 alarm when Neil Armstrong was trying to land land that sucker. And the computer freaked out because they left a radar scanner on, and or at least that's what they think. They think they left a radar scanner on and it overloaded the computer, and the computer's like, hold on, I can't compute all this data at once, and just flashed to 12:02, and they're like, computers couldn't spell things out in plain English back then. They had to work by code, and then they had to know what the 12:02 meant. Anyway, so that's cool NASA history shit, and if you're at least as much of a space nerd as I am, you know all about this.
So basically, it was an equivalent of a 404. An error 404?
Yeah, or a blue screen. Not necessarily a blue screen. It was like one of those times where your Windows computer slows down and you wiggle the mouse, and then like 3 seconds later it wiggles because the hard drive's chugging away like crazy. You guys remember hard drives? That was something else.
It's the ring of death. If you play consoles, you know what the ring of death
The
is.
red ring, yes, the red ring of death.
It's still pretty wild if you think about it, because back in that day, they flew to the moon with only 7,000 lines of code.
yeah. I mean, your Apple iWatch has more horsepower than the lander on the computer
the
on the lander.
entire NASA computer department.
Yes.
Right. The entire facility even.
Yeah, so that was pretty wild. But I did
I want to know
this
who
little...
Shango is. I mean, is Shango related to Django Unchained?
I think so. We just have to look to see if what's his face is there. So, but it's definitely
is that a Quentin Tarantino reference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So it was kind of wild because, and at first you think this is really going on.
Oh yeah. Then it was like, it's a simulator. They're simulating.
It's like, oh my God, we're going to watch this poor woman,
she's not going to cook, is she?
She's going to get exploded.
They're crashing into Russian satellites. No.
Yeah. We're spending way too much time to see gravity.
Yeah. And what is it with the Russian satellites always causing us trouble? I mean, it's always a Russian satellite. It's never Chinese.
When I first saw it, I thought she was just at an arcade playing a game.
Heather's like, this is the coolest game ever. I want it. Let's go get it now.
Yes.
But it was very cool that they saw that. And then Picard is in somebody's living room, who he realizes the Watcher. I will freely admit that I was very wrong when I thought it was going to be Whoopi, when I thought it was going to be Guinan. So I stand corrected on my not able to figure that out. So
the writers were going in that area too, because they had Guinan on the very first part of most of the episode. It wasn't until the very end of the episode who we saw who the Watcher was. So you were right about that.
I must admit, I like the direction they're going with this, because they're not entirely reinventing the entire wheel, because they are kind of using some Star Trek things, but they're calling back to some good Star Trek things. I mean, Gary 7 was a good Star Trek thing.
Yeah, it was.
I love that reference.
The eugenics referencing with Soong, which we will get to, Star Trek thing. That was an Enterprise. But anyway, I'm loving that stuff.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about Laris's accent. Well, she's not Laris. I got the name wrong. Damn it.
Talon.
Fucking Picard.
So she is like the human version of Laris? Is she like a doppelganger?
I don't think
she's not a human.
She is human. She's not like regular human, because she's working for the entity that Gary 7 was probably working with.
Right, but she doesn't have the ears or the eyebrows or anything.
And the accent. The accent was really what got. I mean, the ears was the first thing, but then I was listening to her talk. I'm like, whoa, where'd her fucking cool accent go? Mm-hmm. She's got a cool American accent. What is this?
Well, they said in
Americans have an accent?
Earth,
English
maybe
accent.
In the universe, they say everybody has a doppelganger. This is everyone in the world has another person that looks exactly like them. So maybe this is a doppelganger.
There's two people who look like you, Captain?
Well,
yes,
nobody's perfect.
And the world is quite happy about that.
In your world.
Going back to the simulator, I was worried about
Stimulator?
Is that why I'm trying to stimulate my conversation by thinking about stimulators and not simulators? The thing about Renee Picard, she is apparently a badass astronaut type, but I was disturbed by how quickly she got fucking pissed at them crashing the sim on her. I know all the astronauts get a little bit annoyed about the simulator thing because they always get killed in the darn thing, especially running up to, missions just before they really throw the book at them. So, but I'm, from everything I understand, and we probably should get a psychologist on this thing to prove me wrong, because everything I understand is test pilots are the most stable type people in these sorts of situations, because they're working the problem, right?
Yep, supposed to be.
They're not supposed to be unhinged. They're not supposed to be.
No.
I mean, maybe they do see therapists, but I don't understand that whole whole crazy.
They do have psych evaluations, and they do have to see a therapist to determine if they are stable enough to go up in space.
Yeah, and they will ground them, right?
If they're having problems, yeah.
Yeah, but then you get, Picard is basically begging Talon of who are you protecting, who you watching, who you protecting, who you watching, and she's like, "Fuck, this guy's annoying." Okay, look, it's your great grandmother, all right?
Fine,
just stop it. Just like, okay, I see it is, and so that kind of explains why Q was trying to mess with her when she was sitting and reading the book. Yeah. So it's interesting. So I guess we can go to the next section, because I got stuff to say on that.
Okay. Act 1. At Chateau Picard, the Borg Queen invades the La Serena systems. Computer, intercept local tower frequencies. Voice pattern not authorized. ×3.
Oh my God, that was such good acting. I'm sorry. Keep going.
She calls the cops. Says a woman is screaming it's Chateau Picard. Raffi and Seven are waiting for the Rios' bus. Raffi is freaking out. They have a fight. Seven gets the tricorder and sends an EM pulse to disable the bus, because something not moving is vulnerable. Rios tells the others to get ready. The guard keeps telling them to shut up, and Rios kicks his butt, and Raffi stuns the driver. Raffi mistakes one of the prisoners for Elnor. I've got your back and you've got mine, right? Seven says. Raffi's really, really upset. Back at Talon's apartment, Picard recalls that Kirk's Enterprise crossed paths with a human called Gary Seven, an agent who would protect the tapestry of history. Picard wants to know about Renee, but Talon has never actually met her. She just watches. Kinky. Talon gives Picard her history. Impressive woman, but depression looms large. The Europa mission launches in 3 days. It's a pioneering space mission. Renee is supposed to be on it. Talon's not sure she's going to be there. They watch Renee's therapy session. Picard notices something isn't right. The therapist is trying to talk her out of the mission. Wait a minute, that's Q. That's her therapist. He's using Renee to change the future.
Q makes a horrible therapist.
Yeah, he's basically.
I think you
supposed
should
to
not
help
go
her.
on these missions. It's no good for you.
You know, that was so
talking
bad.
about accents, man. What about that Freudian accent? I was like, it was just a little off enough that it took me a half a second to realize, but I realized right away that was Q.
You
Very
know,
German accent.
the only change Q had to make in the timeline was he became a therapist, and then he changed a bunch of people's lives, and that's how he changed the timeline.
Imagine
Became a
all the
therapist.
other clients he must have as a therapist.
Not a lot.
I feel that my life is useless and I don't contribute. You're basically right. You are useless.
Yep, you are useless. You're very
Yep,
useless.
go away.
This is worst therapist ever.
Yes, the
That
worst.
Yelp review. Oh my God.
I honestly think that you should not pay attention to green or red lights. Just go when the mood hits you.
Oh my gosh.
I am thinking that flying is dangerous. You shouldn't be flying.
Yeah.
Ringo or
If you
red
were meant
lights
to
wet?
fly, you would have had wings.
And then
Always
he,
wings.
And then he makes Red Bull.
Oh my God.
Always
It was,
Red Bull gives you wings.
No, we're not supposed to say that phrase unless they pay us.
Well, I mean, we're getting enough cease and desist letters.
And talking about, I don't know if you guys want to keep talking about the therapist stuff. You guys have anything more with the therapist stuff?
no, I think we get it out of
No.
our system.
Okay. The accents. You want to talk about someone who does a really good accent? The Borg Queen does a most awesome Picard. The computer didn't think so, but I thought it was pretty authentic sounding. And her Rios is to die for.
I thought they just had the actors say the line and then they did the voiceover.
What?
No shit,
You're
Heather.
crazy.
Oh, fuck you. I actually believed Rocky.
Oh my God.
And I have a Mandalorian hat to prove it. I mean, helmet.
Oh my
I like that the Borg Queen was just sitting there and she's got a little FM radio or whatever to listen to. She wasn't checking out the top 40 in the local French neighborhood, but she was picking up the cell phones. And I
Wait.
thought that would keep her very entertained for at least a little bit.
Seriously? That wasn't really her?
Oh,
And then I was
God.
like, damn, she's talented.
That computer was really, really hard to fool. That was pretty impressive. The computer, well, of course, the computer was programmed from this.
Let me reference Dr. Soong. People are idiots.
There you go. You're welcome.
I mean, oh my God. I mean, the computer. So who knows what Rios does to that computer when no one's watching? Because it was so willing to listen to him. So it's
Well,
like,
nobody
what the
else-
hell?
It's his ship.
It's not his ship. It's the weird alternate timeline universe ship. So it only knows Rios' voice out of all of them because it never met Jurarti or Queen.
I thought when
or,
he stole the ship, he reprogrammed it.
there was only so much time to reprogram starships.
It just reminds me of the one line in a movie called Time Cop with Van Damme. Is when you had an operator there, you seem like he's getting busy with somebody and you think it's really getting busy. And all of a sudden you see his mask gets ripped off and his boss is there. So what I tell you about fucking the computer? Get back to work. So who knows what the Rios does because it was so
Whoa.
willing to listen.
Sticking his hard drive in your floppy disk.
Yeah, that's
boy.
for certain.
Yeah.
But she got it. And it's like, why is she doing that? But I guess we find out later on why.
Well, she's swatting
She's just wanted
Picard.
to hear talk radio.
Totally swatting Picard.
She's swatting Picard. I just thought that was kind of an interesting way to bring attention to herself is to, let's just swat the whole fucking thing. Let's swat the winery.
She must have watched the Academy Awards.
Oh, no, that's slapping. That's different. Swatting is different than slapping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Swatting is when you call the cops to a residence that doesn't have anything going on, but you claim that there's like a robbery or an assault.
There's actually a word for that?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And this is the thing you got to watch out for. It used to be a really, really super evil trend where gamers would get pissed off at whoever they're playing with and track them down and figure out where they live and call in the most heinous, nasty phone call to 911 and say, oh my God, this thing's going on over here. Here is the address. And they send the SWAT team over.
I thought they just sent anchovy pizza.
No, they said it's worse. No. It's not. If they would have just sent a pizza, oh my God.
Not a pizza, anchovy pizza. That's the worst type of pizza. You can't even eat that pizza.
Well, you know what's even worse is that they send the fucking SWAT over and there's a problem with SWAT shooting people when they maybe shouldn't be. And people have actually died over this kind of thing. It's very illegal to do.
Holy shit, that's a thing?
That's a thing. It's very illegal to do. They call it swatting, and it's really fucked up.
They've done it a lot in like Beverly Hills and
rich
Brentwood.
neighborhoods.
They'll target regular people too. If you don't like somebody, that's what they'll do. They'll call somebody out and try to make a horrible thing happen. And it's like trying to booby trap somebody from sending the SWAT team out.
Well, we see the French SWAT team is one person.
Yeah, thank God it was only one guy.
You know,
I mean, shit's going. I mean, there's only so much going out in the countryside, and apparently this guy hates the countryside. But he's the one guy on duty that night. He's in rotation. They sent him right on over.
Mm-hmm.
But now the question we had earlier from last episode was like, how are they going to get Rio off the bus? You know,
I loved this. I wasn't expecting it,
and they said
because I was thinking, is she going to like phaser the tires or something?
Oh,
yeah. They're gonna go stand on the side of the road in skimpy outfits and go, "Hey boys,
EMP."
She used an EMP. That, of course, Seven would know to use an EMP.
That's awesome.
And it's awesome that she used it because normally she's got all these Borg implants. Well, she didn't have those. Perfect solution, EMP, because otherwise she'd knock herself out.
And
something that's not moving is vulnerable.
And I liked how she had to talk to Raffi to not do it, because Raffi's like, kill them all, beam them out, do everything, fuck the timeline, let's go ahead and do it.
Especially after she mistakes one of the prisoners for Elnor. I mean, that was
weird.
She just got,
that was weird.
That was weird.
She totally got PTSD.
At least they could have done is put Elnor in orbit without the Romulan makeup, just like straight ordinary dude, and that would have been totally hilarious. But no, they got some other guy, I think.
Yeah, but
unless he's a really good actor, because that didn't look like him.
They're sitting here like all worried about the timeline, but then when they go and do the bus, they release all the motherfucking prisoners. How is that not going to affect the timeline?
I was worried about that too, and I don't have a solution for this. So I think maybe this bus was doomed to begin with.
Yeah, maybe it was due. Those people had to be released in order to make the timeline. You know,
maybe it was. Maybe it was inevitability, right?
Yeah, perfect example of that is like, how do you know he wasn't the one that invented transparent aluminum?
How do you know he wasn't?
Yeah, how do you know he wasn't?
Transparent aluminum.
Well, note to self, when breaking out of a jail or doing some kind of jailbreak, don't announce what's going on to the prison guards right before it happens.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, he's like, I thought that was cool. Here.
No, that was kind of cool. I wonder if because he was doing those lines in Spanish, that the fucking guard had no clue because he didn't speak Spanish. I would think all those guys know Spanish, right?
Yeah.
He was just ignoring them.
How can you have a job dealing with Spanish people and you don't take time to learn the language?
When you're a racist prick.
Well, he definitely was.
It should be a job requirement.
Yeah, I agree with that. That should be a requirement. The speaking the language, yes. Yeah. They need to learn some language, and I think most cops do, because they're on the street with the people, so they have to be able to communicate with the people. They can't just all run around with translators going. I mean, Google Translate is getting good, but I mean, come on.
We ran into Google Translate at the con today.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, he was an earlier bio prototype.
What's the Google Translate look like?
He had glasses with no
cute,
lens.
About 21, dark hair, glasses.
Wow,
with no lenses. But it was
Is
definitely.
Is this a robot or a person?
It was a person.
Oh, okay.
Fascinating.
It was a person. It was a biomechanoid. One of the things which I thought was kind of cool, because they talk about Picard's great-great-great-grandmother and how she's a pilot and she's really good and she flies shit everywhere. There is a science that discovered that DNA can affect generations down the line. So if you learn something, it gets imprinted in your DNA. And then when you have offspring, that offspring picks it up a lot more easier. They've done the study with insects and everything else.
Well, that's how animals do it. I mean, that's how they know how,
That's interesting.
What, we're talking about animals doing it? What?
No, they have animals that's how they even do it with mice. When you have mice that learn a maze, their offspring.
Is this talking about Mickey again?
Do it on Discovery
a
Channel.
lot quicker. But it's kind of interesting and cool. They said that people talk about how, you get diabetes and how cancer runs through the family. They always talk about the bad stuff, but they don't talk about the good stuff also gets transferred to you. So that explains why Picard was such a really good pilot.
He was a pirate.
Yeah, and how he came up, with the Picard maneuver, we're able to jump the ship in 2 different places at once and stuff. It was basically in his DNA.
It's in his DNA. That's really cool.
I thought that was really cool.
Matey.
No, but I don't like the fact that I don't know what the hell is Q's problem though. As a therapist, he's like, I'm going to fuck up all the things.
Might as well, be thorough about it, because that's what Q does.
Well, he's trying really hard, but he doesn't have power.
No, for some reason he doesn't.
Well, that's the way you do it.
That is interesting. Part of this episode is he can't do what he wants to do, so he's looking for ways to get it done anyway.
Which makes me wonder, how did he become a therapist for NASA if he doesn't have any power?
Oh, maybe he kind of like knocked the old one out or something. I don't know.
He's got some skills because he's definitely in this time period long enough to. I mean, if he legit was a therapist for NASA, he just kind of pre-played the game a while. I bet a Q could do that.
Something just occurred to me a little bit. Remember, the Watcher's job is to make sure no one fucks with their person. Q trying to do Q stuff on it. Maybe Talon was able to block it. And that's why Q was like, interesting.
Yeah. Why didn't it work on the woman in the plaza with the book?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe the Watcher, Talon had kept anybody from doing any type of, cosmic power to her or something.
The voodoo that you do.
Yeah.
I still think he couldn't get his snap up. He needed some Viagra.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. He should have had a Red Bull. But,
that gives you wings. That's different.
Because he didn't freak out. He just said that was peculiar.
Yeah.
And most unfortunate.
That's right. He didn't freak out. I mean, if I was a Q and I'd snap my fingers and nothing happened, I'd be like, what the fuck? And block you away from being freaking out so hard. So
I think what he said was like disappointing or something.
Yeah.
Most unfortunate.
Most unfortunate.
The Watcher blocked them because even Guinan was scared of the Watcher.
Yeah.
And what they can do. So we still don't know who the supervisors are and what their powers are.
Yeah.
But it just occurred to me as we were talking that could have been why.
Yeah, because Guinan, Q is afraid of Guinan, but Guinan's afraid of the Watcher.
Yeah.
And we have seen supervisors or the Watcher in past episodes before. So Picard actually says, Kirk once encountered a supervisor named Gary Seven.
Yeah,
who had a really cute cat.
Yeah, who had a similar job to protect history. And Gary Seven was the code name for a human male whose ancestors were abducted from Earth in 4000 BC, taken to another planet, and listed as a Supervisor 194 as a Class 1 supervisor. So you could see all this on the original series, Season 2, Episode 26, Assignment Earth. Oh, and Seven. Gary Seven was also the one that rescued Khan and his fellow people from the laboratory before its destruction.
So it's definitely interesting. And I'm curious on how much they're going to pull this thread this episode.
But Gary Seven's the reason we got Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan?
Whoa.
Well, he's the reason why we have Khan.
Wow. That's a trip.
Well, that's definitely interesting. But this section was a nice little setup to try to figure out what's happening, because now we get a cop, what you call the cop. He's not there yet, but she did. I wanted to reach through the viewing screen and slap the Borg Queen when she did that. Help me.
It was a little overacting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
After me, please. So, yeah. Which, Patrick?
Next section, Act 2.
Give us more, yes.
Dr. Soong is pleading his case to a review board. His daughter has a rare genetic disease. Corey is her name. If I could encapsulate all the knowledge I've gained throughout the years and life experience and careful study into one pearl of wisdom, it would be this, he says. People are idiots. He goes, but soon you'll be able to step out into the outside world and meet some morons up close, I promise. Dr. Soong takes some blood from Corey to run simulations. There's a 98.83% certainty that it's a failure. Dr. Diane Werner and Dr. Vasily Rashenko are on the committee reviewing the license for Dr. Soong. If you notice anything familiar about those names, Dr. Vasily Rashenko is a reference to the human people who adopted Worf, Sergei and Helena Rashenko.
That's why that sounded familiar.
Okay. Oh, good catch.
They first appeared in the TNG episode Family, which is also the first Trek episode that establishes the existence of Chateau Picard, not to mention that the relative relative of Jean-Luc Picard named Renee. The committee revokes his license and funding on the fact that running genetic experiments with a privatized military organization spearhead operations. That's a reference to Sci-Fi's 12 Monkeys. That was the show that Terry Metalis was on before he became the showrunner of Picard. He gets a message from his computer saying, I can help. Check your 3D printer. It's a business card with an emblem on it and a phone number, which if you call it, it's Q.
For a good time call.
Scribble it on the bathroom wall. Back at the chateau, the cop is searching the grounds and nearly finds the sleeping Jurarti until he sees the shimmer of the ship's cloak. He investigates and meets the Borg Queen, who is all too willing to relieve him of his nicotine addiction.
It was bizarre. I really wanted to smack the Borg Queen. She just couldn't care less. And she just grabbed the guy by the neck. And Jurarti was just like sleeping good. Until she got
Jurarti was out.
She was
gonzo.
The only thing missing was drool from the side of her mouth, but she was
That would have
gone.
been perfect.
I'm surprised they didn't hear her snoring because
He was drinking too much of that Chateau Picard.
Yeah, well, yeah, she did find the bottle, and so she was drinking and all of it. But this is another thing I picked up on when it comes to DNA and whatnot. You see soon, his daughter was Soji.
Or Dodge, yeah.
Was Soji and Jaws, and Data had
Not
painted
Jaws. That's a shark.
That's a big dude with the steel teeth.
Yeah.
Soji and Dodge.
You almost said it.
Soji and Dodge. That's where Data had painted the picture. So it looks like he really imprinted into from his daughter. Because,
ooh, the genetics work anyway.
yeah.
I like that.
So he
Fascinating.
really, and that's why she kept reappearing.
It's in the family.
In the dreams. It's in the family.
Yeah.
When
he
I
did
saw that, I was like, what the fuck? Why is
Yeah,
Soji...
why would she match so much? Because it's in the damn DNA of the creator of Data.
Yep.
That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I like that. That's really
So,
cool.
I thought that was pretty awesome, especially when I saw her there. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck is Soji doing
So
there?
it actually I had to ponder it for a moment before I think that's what is basically happening.
DNA is amazing because my mother's father, who we never met, I look a lot like him. Like genetically, we look a lot like each other. So things are passed down genetically. Like he owned horses. My mom's had several horses. My aunt, who we only met recently, she is a mystery novel writer. My mom only reads mystery novels. So, things
it
are
comes
passed down.
They said that the best way to tell if you're using your ancestor DNAs, if something comes second nature to you, that's because it's imprinted in your DNA and you basically are not needing to really learn it. You're just reawakening those parts of your genes. It says, however, if you try something and you just can't get it, that's because it's your first time in your family line or DNA that you're actually doing the thing.
You're a virgin.
And they said that people really need to concentrate on going to where what is easy. This way they know.
Why is it so fucked up that this poor girl can't go outside and take a swim?
I know, because she's got a defect, a
That's
rare
pretty
disease.
wild. Of all the things that could happen to somebody.
Well,
Isn't like the boy in the bubble? Remember the boy in the bubble?
Yeah.
Where he couldn't go outside?
Yeah, but see, Adam soon was able to do a droid shade, so she wasn't going to get hit by the light or anything. Why couldn't they do that and go outside?
Yeah, right.
They did.
And why couldn't they take and build an indoor swimming pool for her to go swimming in? Because she wants to go swimming.
no, but the thing is that even water,
Exactly.
he said, caused her problems. So it wasn't just the sun.
Well, how does she take a shower? She must really stink.
Ooh,
sonic
that's a
shower.
Good point.
Oh, sonic
Probably-
shower.
yeah, sonic
could be.
shower.
They might have come up with some of those.
But
It's
it
probably
was
in like the sharper image or something.
The sonic shower wasn't invented until this happened.
It's like, girl,
probably-
you
he had to do
stink.
it.
Oh, I got an idea. You had like the boombox set up at the same time, and oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
But it was definitely to see him, a father's love, that he's willing to do almost anything to get his
Anything
daughter.
except what the board wanted them to do, and they fucking no more genetics for you, sir. Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the board, did you see one of the women on the board? Did she look familiar to you
She
guys?
looked like she had good directing and acting skills.
Dr. Diane Werner was played by Lea Thompson, which was,
that was cool.
It's a very nice
McFly's
touch.
mother. Yeah, the director who just directed the last 2 episodes of McFly's mother in Back to the Future.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
you
that was
know
cool.
that if you have a chance to direct a Star Trek episode, you damn well going to put yourself in and make yourself canon.
Yeah.
So
Well, she didn't. So Jonathon Frakes directed this.
Oh, that's
so he
right.
must have asked her to come on and do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be curious to find out if that's what happened or not, because I think that that was just awesome to give her a little bit part. I think that's so class. So class. And she did such a great job with the other 2 episodes. They should have done that anyway.
Yeah.
It was fabulous. You know.
The other thing I got noted down in my notes here is, of course, I don't know if everybody's gotten a chance to call the number, but the calling card for Q that 3D printed.
Brilliant.
Well, one, that's an interesting thing to do, is if you're going to leave your calling card like physically printed out in the dude's printer, 3D printer. I thought that was kind of cool.
Now we know what Q's business card looks like.
And now we know what Q's business card
with the
looks
Q
like.
on there.
Yep.
I mean, think of all the crazy shit he could have printed, but I guess a business card was probably the quickest thing. I mean, why don't you just fucking fax it, dude?
And it's a real number.
That's the cool part.
And this lends me to believe that he does still have powers, or else how is he going to hack a 3D printer in order to do that?
He's got people that can do that.
Yeah, so
That's
I get
true.
it.
You just need computer skills for that. You don't need to have, Q powers.
Well,
Well,
number one.
probably the password was like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right?
or monkey or something, or DNA is cool.
12 monkeys.
Number one sent us the phone number and told us to call it, so we all called it. And there's actually a message from John Delancey, and it's really interesting.
That's Q. It wasn't the John Delancey guy. It was the whole Q continuum was on the phone.
I'm sorry, Q was on the phone.
Do you want me to call it and play it right now?
Oh, yes.
Hello. You have reached the Q Continuum. We are unable to get to the phone right now because we are busy living in a plane of existence your feeble mortal mind cannot possibly comprehend. Furthermore, it's pointless to leave a message because we, of course, already knew that you would call, and we simply do not care. Have a nice day.
I like that he wished us a nice day.
Yeah, but Annie didn't care,
That's
which
so
is kind
beautiful.
of like,
Yeah, that have a nice day was dripping with sarcasm, though. I mean,
That
like,
was
it was
so
just
beautiful.
But I love that we did that. And then one guy on Twitter like completely posted it right away. It was like, oh, if you don't want to call it, here it is. Here's the audio. I thought that was classy Star Trek fan stuff.
That's awesome.
yeah, he could have just like let people call anyway. So, but that was wild.
I wonder what if it would have been cool. I don't know if this would be part of the bit they did, but if like the first 100 people called it, they would actually get Q on the phone. But we all got the voicemail.
They're not paying John Delancey that much money.
Yeah, there's only so much acting you can do.
Oh, I could totally see him doing that. You call, Q answers the phone. He goes, you have one question. Are you Q? Yes. Click.
Click.
Yes. That's awesome. And if he didn't like, I don't care. Click.
So,
Your feeble little mind would understand. Click.
no, I thought that was cool.
But it was basically a for a good time, call Q.
Oh my
Well,
God.
right on
that's
the
funny.
bathroom wall.
Well, yeah, on the bathroom said for a good time, call the herbalist. Okay, we can.
My one other
Yes.
little note, because we took it in the order and I just reread it now. The police officer that came in as the SWAT,
Poor
he
guy.
should have been wearing a red uniform.
Yeah, because
But,
but he freaked out just like anybody would do.
dude, he shit his pants.
Yeah.
He
What
literally
is
fell
this?
back. He must have shit his pants because he walk in on the Borg Queen like that. I would have shit my pants.
But first off, I would have ran on my ass. I wouldn't even have to stand to run away.
There's two reactions.
would've
You
kicked me
either
down in it.
pull out your gun and blast, which
Yeah.
would not have been a good for the Queen, or you fall down and shit your pants because that was a crazy moment.
And he was kind of, first, I don't care if you are a police officer. I was a driver for picking people up to go to the airport. And I went to this house. I was supposed to pick this woman up. I go knock on the door. The door opens. Just ajar because it wasn't closed. I yell into the name of my company that I was here to pick her up. No sound, no noise. I go to the back of the house. There's a window open and there's an open suitcase with a TV on. I yell through the back window that I'm here. No answer. So I go back into my van, says, the person's not answering me, I'm out. I just drove off.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in and look around. If I walked in, it looks like a
Nope.
spaceship. Yeah, no. Those Pick Adventure books.
I would have called for backup at some point.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
can't even tell you how many times I started a Pick Adventure book and it was over for me within 10 pages because I just left.
I gotta admit though, the Borg Queen, if she did get backup called, and like 8 dudes showed up, she had so many of those fucking tentacles coming off of her. She could have handled it.
Yeah, she would have.
Could have.
And that was weird. The Borg with a tentacle. I mean, wrapped around your neck like a snake. That was.
I kept thinking of Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man or tentacle porn from hentai. It was either one of the two.
Well, we don't know where the other tentacle went to.
That sounds like some fanfic that's being written right this second.
Yeah. Hey, Pat.
Anyway,
Pat, give us the next
section.
one.
next Next section. Okay, Act 3. Dr. Adam Soong goes to meet Q for coffee. Soong is very skeptical and thinks Q's a crackpot. There's some crackpot talk going on. 17 seconds right on the tick. You know I'll kill you if I think you're a threat. I am the evolution of stardust. I am the gentle flutter of a butterfly. I am death, destroyer of worlds. Nothing is incurable. Q hands Adam a vial of liquid. Picard thinks that he and Talon should go to the gala and watch over Renee. We're stronger together, he says. Back on La Serena, the Queen tells Agnes she's got a surprise. The Queen has the cop in a stranglehold. The Queen is telling Agnes, you're alone in every timeline, but I can change that. I'm the only one in the entire universe who has ever truly seen you. Agnes blows her ass away.
That whole section right there with the Borg Queen, when she was threatening Agnes, I was like, you don't know who you're fucking with, do you? She showed you what she's going to do.
Agnes has got this air about her. She's like the bad penny or something.
Well, the Borg Queen said it perfectly. Like, you don't look as cruel as you actually are.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, she knows what the Borg Queen knows what she's doing, but I'm interested in how she calculated the possibility of Agnes grabbing the gun above the fireplace and then being able to shoot and not completely blow her head off right away. Or does the Borg have like a cerebral backup in the body?
She probably just didn't think she would do it.
Yeah, we don't even know that she's the Borg is dead or not until the next section.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty wild. And I like the fact that they're trying to do a Mission Impossible. You know, where they get, you can't go in here because, one, they have cameras with recognition. They have RF tags to say where everybody's at. You gotta have the invite. You gotta be back up with your license or something.
Now, did anybody feel like they were watching an episode of Leverage right about this moment?
Oh, I know. That would have been so cool.
Jonathon Frakes also did some Leverage.
Yeah, so that explains how he was really good with that.
And he mentioned in that article that I was talking about the Ocean's 11 feel too. And I think I mentioned that a couple episodes ago. I just couldn't talk about which music I was feeling at the moment, but they have that little funky cool music that would go during these caper events, you know?
Okay.
So same sort of thing. They triggered that.
I like the Q says he was the evolution of stardust, being that we're all...
Oh, I love that
we're
whole
all
line that he
stardust.
said. And
I
then
am death, destroyer of worlds is what...
And I'm your biggest fan. Hello.
Exactly.
That's what he said. He's like, I am death, destroyer worlds, and I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, oh my God. I just laughed so freaking hard at that part.
That's pretty good, yeah. The several of those phrases was interesting, you know, stardust, and I think you mentioned butterflies again.
Yeah, the butterfly foreshadowed the whole butterfly effect that was happening because of him.
I am
the
butterfly.
gentle flutter of a butterfly.
Yeah, he's exactly. It's all tied together. I love the way it's so beautifully written. But the death, destroyer of worlds, was that not what the creator of the atomic bomb said? Ooh. If I remember correctly? We probably should Google this real quick.
Wasn't the creator of the atomic bonds
Atomic bong?
The atomic bong?
The atomic bomb. Wasn't that Albert Einstein?
I've had an atomic bong before.
Let's see here.
Albert Einstein was the one that invented that, right? And he was like regretful.
Yep, he with a team of people.
Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds. The story of Oppenheimer's infamous quote. Oh. That's like the first. It's a Wired article that came up on Google, like the third thing that showed up. So that's what I'm talking. That's Oppenheimer was the guy.
Okay.
And for those of you that would love to partake of the magic weed, the House just passed a resolution to make marijuana legal across all the United States. Now it's got to go through the Senate.
Oh, wow.
Now the Senate's
they should get that done.
And also, part of the writer is that anybody who's in jail for it or had charges will be instantly dropped for marijuana possession.
And hopefully they will help contribute to the economy and fix that problem.
Well, not to get into a drug show, but marijuana is actually less problematic than alcohol.
Yeah, we've all heard that too, right?
Yeah, so it is true. When's the last time you heard somebody is really high and did a crime?
The worst thing you do is if you're a cop and you have it and you call and you say, I don't feel right. The world's going by too slowly.
The cop who called and said that, That was awesome. No, but the worst thing that you do when you smoke weed is literally like sit on your ass and eat, or have munchies and eat like a ton of food.
That's it.
Like that's the worst.
That's the only thing.
And you're super slow. So cops should be happy because they should be able to catch anyone who's on weed because you're super slow.
Only your perception of time is slow. You're not really super slow. You just think.
Well, time's a construct, but we're going off on
Sounds
weed
like
tangents.
a science experiment we can have later.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we can.
But after the show, hold on,
wait.
Heather. After the show.
Aw.
Should we go to the next section?
Yeah, we should.
No, wait,
What?
one more thing. So the Borg Queen, I love this. If anyone watched the Ready Room and saw the interview between Will Wheaton and I don't remember her name, the actress who
Annie
played the
Wershing.
Borg Queen.
Annie Wershing, yeah.
Thank you. They brought up a very interesting point. So Annie has been on Star Trek before. She was Liana in the Enterprise, Season 1, Episode 20, Oasis, where the Enterprise finds a deserted ship and there's like a girl and her father on
And
there.
she's
and this
looking
girl-
at Trip, and Trip's
Oh,
looking
she's
at her.
hitting on
and-
Trip so bad.
We saw
Yeah.
that episode. Heather knows for a
Yeah.
fact.
So they brought up an interesting point on Ready Room that what if this character was assimilated by the Borg and she ended up becoming the Borg Queen?
It's a great idea, but she said
Interesting.
no. She denied it. She shut it down. She
She
said,
did shut it down? Oh, I thought it was so wonderful. That was such a good idea.
It's an interesting possibility. I mean, it could be. I wonder if they'll just let it be vague, and maybe the fans will think that. Maybe the fans won't think that. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can go to the next section.
Act 4. 100% effective. That's the serum that Q gave to Soong. Corey takes the serum. It worked. She can go swimming, and then she gets spider veins all over her face. Raffi, Seven, and Rios beam back to La Serena. Agnes is covered in blood. She shot the Borg Queen. Cops
But she
in bad
did not
shape.
shoot the sheriff. Oh, sorry.
Right.
No, she shot the deputy.
Deputy. She didn't shoot the deputy.
Go ahead.
A chihuahua. The cop is in bad shape. Agnes repaired most of his internal organs. Agnes erased his memory, so they got to take him to his car. Picard and Talon smoke in. That's what, instead of beaming in, they smoked in. Okay, yeah. So Soong wants to know if Q has the real cure. If you do, I am a hostage to you, sir. We are all hostages to what we love. The only way to truly be free is to love nothing. How meaningless would that be? Q wants Soong to remove the obstacle named Picard. Renee discovered a microorganism on Io that she believed was sentient and convinced the mission commander to bring it back to Earth. Agnes will go to the gala and get everyone's credentials into the database. Agnes gets busted and is cuffed to a chair in the security office, which apparently was part of the plan. Flashback to Agnes shooting the Queen, and the Queen injects Agnes via a simulation tubules with her consciousness.
I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
No, but
Yeah,
apparently
you missed.
Agnes got shot with tubules. But that was kind of okay.
She got shot in the neck.
But this was a good switcheroo.
No, it was in the face.
It was.
It was in the
okay.
cheek.
Yeah, there was a kind of a good thing. First off, we see Dr. Soong is just as evil as he wants to be in all of the generations down the line. Because he's evil in this one. He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever the hell you want as long as you do it. And if you don't do it right, I'll kill you.
Adam Soong is like Q's puppet, though.
Yeah, but he's also
He's
evil in
easily manipulated.
Yeah, but he's also evil in Enterprise. If you
Oh, yeah.
we didn't get to that, but his grandfather or whatever was in the Enterprise, and he had created augment humans that basically kind of gives birth to like Khan's people.
I enjoy that they're doing the eugenics thing again. I think
Yeah.
this is a very interesting subject. It was back then in that episode of Enterprise. And I don't think Heather's seen this one. I think this one's one of the later episodes.
No, we
But,
stopped watching before we got to that.
Yeah, but it was very worthwhile to see, to explore the idea of eugenics and genetics. And that's a future. I think some of us in our lifetime are going to be dealing with these issues. If we're not even dealing with it right now, but it's fascinating. And to put it into a plot of a Star Trek show is very, very intelligent and cool thing to do.
Well, little trivia on the actress who plays Renee Picard, Penelope Mitchell. One, she's the cousin of Rhoda Mitchell, which you would know from Pitch Black and the Hillside, oh God. That haunted one with the nurse.
Oh, the house on Haunted Hill.
No, the faceless nurse.
Whoa, what was that?
I don't know. Something happened on my phone.
That's exciting.
Anyway, Penelope Mitchell, when Renee gets to the gala, you briefly glimpse her birthday, which is November 22nd, 1996. In our universe, that's the date Star Trek First Contact hit theaters. It also looks like Renee renewed her passport on September 24th, 2017, which is the date that Star Trek Discovery debuted its first 2 episodes. So obviously, without the film First Contact and the series Star Trek Discovery, the inception of Star Trek Picard, and thus the character Renee Picard, would not exist.
History. So that's pretty cool Easter egg.
Fascinating.
It was, I really kind of enjoyed a little bit of how Q is also kind of evil, as when he turns around and gives the cure, but he's got a timer on it.
He doesn't give the exact cure.
Yeah. He's like,
I thought that
okay.
was, of course, Q would do that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was also interesting that the doctor tested it on himself first.
Yeah.
I guess just to make sure that it didn't attack his genetics.
Kill.
But his genetics are, while they're related, really closely, are not exactly the same as her genetics. So I thought it was kind of a weird thing for a guy that was literally this intelligent and smart to do. Test it on himself.
I thought he was testing it to make sure it wouldn't kill her or something.
Well, that's one way to test, but it wouldn't solve her problem, would it?
No, she'd have no father then.
I don't think it was logical for him to test it. I just thought it was weird that he did.
He was emotional. He was running on emotions.
And that's what a better, quicker way to do it. It's that quick doctor hunch. Let's do it. Fuck it all. Let's go for it. Is something we see in Star Trek. Because didn't Dr. McCoy do that about once, at least? Doctors test it on themselves first.
Yeah, they want to
Dr.
be sure
Testy's way.
it is good.
Yeah, it's one of those things you see in shows, and you're just like, why would someone who's intelligent as a doctor actually do that? That doesn't make sense. They need to take time. It's something that writers make doctors do. I don't think doctors would actually do it.
Well, another thing that I didn't understand, where it was confusing, why did they do that or how did they do that? What happened with the Borg Queen getting inside of Jurarti? I know she had the fingernails and she did something with cords, but I mean, how is she in Jurarti?
That's an interesting.
She injected her with injection tubules in her face.
She has. She's been hitting on Jurarti this entire time.
Yeah, she has been.
And I think that Jurarti's susceptible. I think that's just naturally part of her character. I think she's susceptible for this sort of thing. It's not expected, and that's why it gets her so good. And that's how we end up with her mind getting taken over by Romulans with some badass sunglasses and convinced to kill her ex-lover. That's some fucked up shit. And why not? She's susceptible to this kind of suggestion that it just took a little bit. Also, I think I was reading one of the articles and somebody said that she is kind of a willing victim.
Okay, that I can understand.
Because she did hooking up, as it were, with the Borg Queen. There was part of that, and she was willing to do it beforehand. She's like, yo, Picard, I want to do this. And Picard's like, no fucking way. Bad idea.
Now Jurarti is alone but not lonely?
She knew, you could tell right off the bat, because when everybody came back to the ship, she said who noted the Borg Queen's weakness, and she knew exactly where to shoot her. So that means she did kind of want the Borg Queen be with her, because she knew the kill shot, but she didn't take it.
Yeah, you see it in the flashback. They flash back and you see what actually happens. She did not do the headshot. She was getting lucky or something. And that's why the Borg Queen, I don't understand how she calculated that that's what was going to happen, but she was able to take advantage of Jurarti and survive long enough to take advantage of Jurarti.
Now, that just leads me to think that maybe the Borg that Picard started with this season, that it's actually her. Because remember, in the beginning of Picard, it was coming out of a temporal anomaly.
Yeah, the mask.
Thing.
Why the mask? Why is it's thing, not the Borg does not normally have the kinky S&M face mask. They like to show at least one eye.
It's probably because it's Jurarti. It's because Jurarti and the Queen, and she didn't want people to see her face. And also you had the fact she wasn't killing people. She was just knocking them out.
So Jurarti became the Borg Queen, and that's why she had the mask on and did the Dr. Octopus thing.
I don't know if that's actually what was happening, because I thought it was kind of strange that it was just kind of all of Picard's emotional things. He's literally running away from relationships, and he's getting chased by a giant vagina ship. And it's the Borg Queen. It's your ex showing up. Hey, baby, let's talk. I mean, it's kind of, there's some weird motivation to this that doesn't fit. I know Q is behind a lot of this, but is it all of this?
And also, if you think about it, when the Borg Queen came, and did that. And what was the last thing before the ship supposedly blew up?
When the Queen came, what?
I was thinking that too. I lost everything you were saying after you said the Queen came.
Yeah, when she said, look up. That's what Picard was telling her.
Well, that's what Picard's mother told him.
Yeah.
Look up.
Yeah, about look up. So it's
No, but didn't Picard say that to Jurarti?
Yeah.
And that's how she knew.
Yeah, so it's going to be... So I'm really thinking
you're circling it in there. You're drawing in the lines. Interesting.
We'll be able to see, because I'm really think that that's going to be it.
That's interesting.
And I was very, very like, God damn it, Jurarti. You know, I was like, why is she doing this shit again? And then I realized, because she said she did it because the Borg Queen was going to kill the officer, and she was saving the officer's life. So instead of me thinking instinctively that Jurarti is just a fucking crazy murderer all the time, she was literally saving the life of that innocent officer that just got, basically lured into by the Borg Queen in her little web.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting as we continue to pull this thread as the episodes continue on, because like you said earlier, we had a leverage episode basically as they did the kind of sneaky thing to get in. And then I noticed also Picard is like, yeah, I killed the Borg Queen. And the Picard is like,
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You did what you had to do.
Well, I think he was more like, did we just see the crew pulling a dead body out the door? And that's
that was kind of funny.
I love that he's bringing his new girlfriend to the ship, and they're just carrying a dead body out of the ship.
No, it was even more funny. He's like, how's your new crew? My new crew is great. They're, like Heather said, they're trustworthy. They're this, they're that. Is that a body where they're...
I love I think I caught this while I was watching it with subtitles. I don't think I quite heard it because there was dialogue going on, but Raffi was saying, Rios, you're twisting his back. And Rios is like, it's okay. Because you're dragging him out. It's like, that was hilarious to me, because you just walk in like, dude, you're fucking him up. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, my crew is so trustworthy. I've got the best crew ever. I trust them with my life, and they're dragging the,
I'm sure he's not dead.
No, he's not dead. But if he's not dead, he should be dragged a certain way.
But he's missing a spleen, so there's that.
That's the other thing. That's in a
true.
box over there.
Well, they might have taken the box with them.
That's for dinner with a little Chianti.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
So, but that's the thing where he's going to get to the hospital and they're going to be like, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
I like that Jurarti's operating skills is much like certain engineer skills. Like there's always a couple of extra little screws left over. I'm like, it's working. I guess they didn't really need all those screws in there. It's like, the spleen. You don't need a spleen.
It's like, it's just redundant. You don't really need it.
What's funny about Jurarti is when she goes to the party at the very end and she has to get security's attention, she starts talking to herself, and security's like, oh, she's talking to herself. We have an intruder. Just like,
dead giveaway.
So don't talk to
they
yourself.
were on her quick. That was a good security team. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool.
I talk to myself very often, so I'm waiting for security to come to me now.
Yeah, they arrest me every time I go to fix computers.
Well, that explains everything. You were talking to yourself on YouTube. And security locked right in on you.
That's true.
Heather was broadcasting live from a bush, and security went and wrapped her up.
Literally,
in minutes.
I am outside. I am not even near the building.
Not
I am like
her bush, a bush.
No. I am literally outside in the parking lot as far away as I can get from this building, like with a bush behind me. So the building's not even showing. You're just seeing a bush, and security still had a problem with that and like kicked me out.
They locked right in on us. A girl talking to herself.
Yep.
Were you wearing a red dress at that time too? Because Jurarti's red dress was also kind of like calling it attention.
She was like in the Matrix. Were you watching security, or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
Right.
Yes,
the woman in the red dress. That was my idea.
I love the Matrix.
But now we have to figure. I'm just wondering what's going to happen next week.
Ooh.
Well, I wonder. I loved a little misdirection because the whole title of the episode is "Fly Me to the Moon," and I didn't realize the moon was Io. That's where she's supposed to be going. One of the moons over there.
Well, plus that's what the name of the song was that the band played, which isn't
it's
that
a beautiful callback to a Deep Space
Frank
Nine.
Sinatra
Yes.
song.
Yeah.
Yep,
Deep
Frank
Space
Sinatra.
Nine.
Yeah.
The Sinatra song, classic Sinatra song, was heavily featured in.
I have like 2 questions for this episode, which I hope to get answered for the next one. One, how they're going to fix her head before she gets on that trip because that was the last party before they leave.
I'm worried about her too because she was having like PTSD from the
lot of problems. Yeah, and then the next thing is, what the hell does Q want Soong to do?
Whatever it is, he can't do it. So Adam has to do it. So
it's going to be interesting. I have no theories on what he wants him to do. So I have no idea.
And how is the Borg Queen?
Shake your groove thing. Shake your groove thing.
Maybe Q just wants to watch.
Well, no, the Watcher's another character.
He wants to be the new Watcher.
I want to know how the Jurarti Borg Queen is going to get decuffed from that chair. Because they got her cuffed to not just one arm, but both arms cuffed to a chair.
That was part of the plan.
Maybe. I'm sure that they have a plan to take care of it. I'm just wondering how.
I wonder if the handcuffs were part of the plan.
Kinky.
Well, let's wrap this up because my butt's tired.
I think we're about wrapped up.
Yeah, we are.
You should ask us what we thought of the episode.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to. But, Patrick had to always put his butt in like he always does.
Just wanted to mention, I think that Corey needed a better swimsuit. And she picked up swimming very quickly. Did you notice that? The Soong's daughter picked up swimming so fast?
Maybe she VR'd it. Who knows?
Well, they probably have a huge bathtub in that house.
Yeah, with filtered water. Much like Heather uses. She's got a really fancy bathtub with filtered water.
But boy, she needs to see a dermatologist, man. Those spider veins were bad.
Yeah. So, Heather, what would you give this one on a 1 to 10?
Why didn't Soong have a spider vein? Because he took the stuff too.
Yeah, but he didn't because he's not allergic to anything.
Yeah, he didn't have the problem.
He doesn't have the genetic problem. He just has the genes.
He doesn't have the problem. Yeah.
I give this episode probably a 7.
Okay.
It was like a filler episode. It was a good episode. I was interested, but I wanted to see the plot moved along. And I feel like this was more of an introduction for Renee and an introduction for Adam Soong and Soji, which I'm going to always call her Soji because that's just what I think of. But I feel like it was more of a, we need to get you to this place, so we have to introduce these people to you.
Yeah, I really don't think you're wrong on that. So, yeah. How about you, number 1?
I'm going to give it about an 8. I liked it, especially the very last scene when the Borg sticks it to Agnes.
Oh, you like it when the people get stuck too.
She didn't use the stump either.
No.
Oh, my.
Nope, no stumping here.
We didn't see her stump, so we don't know where the stump was.
Kinky.
Oh, that's true. So how about you, Chief? What would you give it?
I'm going to give this an 8.5. And I think that's low for me and low for a typical Jonathon Frakes episode for me as well. But you can't look at it as a single episode. This is the setup for the next episode, which I think is going to knock my fucking socks off because there's so much setup in this episode.
Yeah.
The dominoes are going to fly next episode, and I can't wait for it.
I'm looking forward to it. I agree.
I was trying to think of the word setup, but I couldn't think of it. So I want to say I agree with Rocky. That was the word I was trying to use.
Yeah, it's one where it's a setup. It's the pre-show. It's like the
it's getting things ready.
Yeah, it's the it's the setup. It's the layup or whatever.
It's the pre-cum for the orgasm that is to come.
It's the
You
foreplay.
mean it's the foreplay?
It's the foreplay, and we're about to have the fun stuff next episode.
Well, I have to say that this was not bad for an Ocean's 11 type of show, but I will kind of have to go with Heather. I would give this one about maybe a 7. There were some things that kind of annoyed me in a way, but I still enjoyed it. So it was still a really good episode. And Jonathon Frakes, I hate to give Johnny a 7 on this one, but for his directing, if I had to do just solely on directing, it would wind up being a 1. I mean, not a 1, I mean a 10.
Whoa.
But everything
He's
else.
like, damn, coming down hard on Jonathan.
No,
Johnny, I got to give you 1.
No, Johnny, I would give him a 10 because he's an excellent. The camera angles, the close-ups, everything he did was really well.
I love Jonathon Frakes.
I have a hard-on for the director's skill set that Mr. Frakes has. That guy is a fucking legend in Star Trek, but in all of Hollywood, he's got this skill set that is just, it comes so natural to him. When you see the behind the scenes of him directing something, it's so stereotypical Hollywood, but that only comes from being like the thing that can handle it. That's the reason why he keeps coming back, because he's so good at it. He can do amazing things and keep it on time and budget. And that's just amazing as someone from the world of filmmaking and television. I can appreciate
I also think, too, that his experience as an actor really helps him, because every time we listen to interviews with the actors, they're always saying he knows what to say. He knows what I need. As an actor, he knows what we want as other actors. And I think that really helps him be a director.
And that's why you also hear a lot about people from Star Trek. And if you don't hear it, but this is happening, because if you read the credits, you'll definitely see the people that are actors in Star Trek, a lot of them go directing. And they become very good directors.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Duncan McNeil does a lot of directing. So does Roxanne Dawson.
Roxanne Dawson, yeah. Well, not in real life, but yeah.
I know, but...
actually, I don't know what his real life wife does.
She helps him with the podcast.
Well, apparently, I've heard that podcast.
We're going to go ahead and get ready to tidy up because we have an away mission to do first thing in the morning again. But I want to not only say that will annoy Patrick to no end, but what's next week's episode title?
Your mom.
Okay, so everyone, please watch your mom. It's next week.
That's hilarious. That's better than what I was going to say.
So
I was going to say it's Fly Me Back from the Moon.
That's probably what's going to be.
Fly me to the earth because I want to get off this stupid moon. Yeah? No?
Okay.
Swinging? Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed our our April Fool's episode, please let us know at the collective at starfleetunderground.com or leave comments on our YouTube channel.
Or add us at Twitter.
Who knows? Yeah, or Twitter. Yeah, or holler us on Twitter, on the Instagram, on IG.
You can try to private conversation me on Instagram, but and I'm the guy running the Instagram, so I'm not saying, because you can contact me separately if you want, but you got to be really good to get through the IMs, because I'm like, not one of them. Like maybe one of them was a real legit person.
Oh, yeah. You get
there's a lot of fake ones.
So hard.
Yeah. It's like, look at my boobs. I want to be your friend because you're handsome. Yeah, no.
I'm like, who is this person? She doesn't know me.
Yeah,
but Patrick likes to be
Well, it's really funny when I get them, because I'm like, bitch, you're barking up the wrong tree.
It's like, girl, you don't know.
Yeah, well, Patrick likes to be twatted, so twit him on Twitter.
Me.
He loves it, so he gets all happy. And so he gets really cool.
And I will be happy when I go to bed tonight because I'm tired.
That's why I'm getting ready to go.
I hope you guys have fun tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll send you pictures. And I think you got about 10 dots left to finish programming for you before you go to bed. But everybody, thank you so much for listening to the show.
Thank you.
I mean, you really keep us going, so we appreciate it so much. And it's nice to have fans come up and look for us, and it's really cool. So remember, just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG, and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.